Good morning, YouTube. What is doing? I got a new look. What do you think of the moustache? Shea moustache. I did it as a joke, and then I was like, hey, I really like it. It's very funny. This is episode 4 of Walk With Me. I was thinking, I always think really weird stuff. I always disappear into my own alternate reality and like to just imagine weird situations. And I was imagining, this is so morbid, but it's fun. Hey man, I was imagining that I knew I was going to die. And so I filmed a video for my funeral to be played. And I was like, what would I say in it? And I started coming up with all these jokes and all these fun things to say, about life's short, go hard, live it up, have fun. I don't want it to be a sad funeral. I want it to be fun and exciting. Because if I was there, I'd be having fun. It's a weird concept, death. It is odd. And it's strange that our Western culture seems to embrace it very differently to a lot of other places. Anyway, enough morbid stuff. What's today? Friday. A woohoo! I hope everyone's pumped for the weekend. I don't think I will be doing these walk with me videos over the weekend. Or maybe, I don't know. I might not feel up to it. Maybe it's a weekday situation. I'm not sure. I've got a podcast today, actually. I am going to be a guest on a podcast, which will be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. I am with a guy. I don't know what the podcast is, but it's with a guy called Roberto Capuccio. And I've been learning Italian, so I really would love to run my Italian by him and see if he can speak it and speak a little bit of Italian with him. Because when you're learning a language, you need people to speak it with. Otherwise, you never speak it. And it's just you learning it in your room. How boring. You want to be able, it's like training for a marathon that you never run. So again, in the shower after my funeral imagination, I was just talking Italian to myself. I was imagining that I was in Italy on my own, and I was speaking Italian to people. What was I saying? I was saying, io sono italiano, imparando italiano. Io bene questo mani, which means, I think it means I'm good with these hands. What the hell? Over the years, I've learned little bits of Italian here and there because my mum speaks it full blown, and so do my grandparents, and my brother learnt it at one point. So every now and then I go through an Italian phase of just being obsessed, absolutely obsessed, and learning as much Italian as I can for 2 weeks. And then I get over it and don't pick it up again for a long time. I think I might be on the brink of being obsessed again. So for the next few weeks, I might be learning Italian. Hello. It's so funny walking past people and they look at you odd when you're talking to your phone because they don't get the context of what I'm doing or what I'm talking about. They must think I'm either on the phone FaceTiming a friend overseas or am a weirdo. Especially when they find out, mate, you've only got, now one person watching you. Well, I guess it is like FaceTime. I just don't know who's on the other end. What else can I tell you about on this walk? I've covered a lot this last week, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments about my moustache. Is it a look to keep, you reckon? I think I like it. I think it's fun. And I'm growing my hair out, so it's quite slick. I feel like Robert De Niro's character in The Godfather. When he becomes the mafioso boss, he gets a moustache and slick hair. I love it. I'm watching The Godfather 2 at the moment. Oh man, I love that movie. I don't know what it is, but I'm obsessed with mafia movies. Thanks, man. I'm obsessed with mafia movies. I think so. I love it. I watch Michael Franchese or Francis on YouTube. He's got so many videos about his mafia life. I don't like the crime side of things. I think it's the secret society that they have that is interesting. Like, it's appealing because it's not a world that I know, but the idea of having like a secret handshake and just like a little nod and you help each other out. I like it. It's fun. But I do not have it inside of me to be a part of that world. And I've never really met anyone who is a part of that world. Nonetheless, it's fun to research. That, again, I've said this before, but that and watches, I go into weird, and learning Italian, I go into weird, hyper-focused, obsessive moments of just researching watches, mafia, and learning Italian as hobbies. I've never thought that I had hobbies, but it turns out I do. It's researching weird things. This is a really nice park. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called something. I don't know, man. I have no idea what it's called. Might ask this lady. Hello. Excuse me. Do you know what this park is called?
I think it's Hanlen.
Hanlen Park?
Hanlen and Veranda Park, or at least that's the bit that's
over there.
I don't know if this bit's still the same.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. There you go. Hanlen Park. Just near Stones Corner. It's a really awesome park. Growing up in Brisbane, this used to be a bit of a rough area. It wasn't nice like this when I was a kid. It was a pretty, it seemed a bit rough. And now it's so nice and friendly, and it's always full of really cool young people walking along it with nice dogs. I'm going to share a funny story about when I was on television. I used to host a few kids shows, and I used to work on a show called Totally Wild in Australia, which is a kids' wildlife and adventure show. And we had a story about otters, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, you know what they call a collective noun for otters?" And I was like, "What?" Now, a collective noun is like a pod of dolphins, a murder of crows, a parliament of owls. So a group of an animal has a collective noun name, a flamboyance of flamingos. And my mate said, "Hey, you know what the collective noun for otters is?" I said, "Oh, what?" He goes, "It's called a business of otters." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And so when I did the story on Totally Wild about otters, I got dressed up in a suit with a briefcase and a tie. I'm asking all these business-related questions about otters, like, "Oh, so how many employees do you have in this business?" Etc. Anyway, it was a great story. It was a lot of fun. And then the producer was like, "Hey, Seamus, you might want to do some fact checking. It's actually not called a business. It's called a bevy." I was like, "Oh, sugar." And he said, listen, it's a good story. Just take that business out and put bevy in." And I was like, "Mate, I'm wearing a suit. How am I going to do that?" Anyway, my producer went on holidays the next day. So I just ignored what he said and sent it to air. So there's a whole generation of kids who watch that thinking that otters are called a business, when in fact they're called a bevy. That's why you don't believe everything you see on TV, my friend. Because idiots like me will just lie. But I've never done that before. I mean, I've never done something like that since, because it's not good to put incorrect information out there because I'm lazy. Now I make sure I'm very accurate with the information, or I'm accurate with my opinion and accurate with what I've researched and learnt already. So if it's not 100%, I will say, this is what I've learnt. Well, I'm going to cut this walk short today, I think. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to do things. And right now, I'm not overly in the mood to talk. I'm still waking up. I must have had a bad sleep. Apparently, I might have sleep apnea. I snore so much in my sleep. Like my girlfriend has to put in earbuds so she doesn't hear me, so I don't wake her up. And and apparently with sleep apnea, you stop breathing, and it can affect your sleep so much that you're actually tired. So, and I asked this morning, I said, hey, did I snore? And she goes, yep. So maybe I had some sleep apnea problems, and now that's why I'm so tired. It's really frustrating because I like being hyperactive. I like being upbeat. I like being full of energy. I don't like being couldn't be stuffed. So hopefully this walk wakes me up. Oh my gosh, is that a spider? I hate spiders so much. I am so scared of them. I hate them. I find them fascinating. And I have held them in my hands before, barking tarantulas, huntsmans, orbs, things like that. And I hate it. I hate it. I'm so scared of them. I remember years ago when I first started on TV, I had this story down in Sydney at the wildlife place, and they had a funnel web spider, which is arguably the most venomous spider in the world. If it bites you, you're dead in 40 minutes kind of thing. And I was playing with it with tweezers, giant tweezers, playing, and it was sinking its teeth into the tweezers. And after that, I wasn't as scared. And then the fear came back. And then I'd hold a spider in my hands and I wouldn't get as scared. And then the fear would come back. So if I'm around spiders a lot, I lose the fear. But then if I don't see them for a long period of time, the fear comes rushing back. I think it's called exposure therapy. And that's the most effective way to overcome the fear of public speaking. Hello, mate. Is to expose yourself to that fear. So I would like a pet spider, I think. I think that would be good. All right, I'm done for today. I'll either see you tomorrow or on Sunday or on Monday. But I have one more. I've got one more left. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Have a good day.